Hey everybody, Von here with the Vonster vlog, and welcome to day 22, I think, 22 of a year of yoga. I am going completely off the rails today, not following anything we've done before. This is actually a yoga sequence that I've really enjoyed and been building on, gosh, since I was 14 and first started learning yoga and started practicing and stuff. And so I'm going to do my best to kind of talk y'all through it as we go. It's been a minute because I've been trying so hard to kind of do, other stuff like with yoga and being like, no, I want to break out of my mold. Okay. Take a few deep breaths to calm and balance your mind. Inhale and exhale. Feeling the cool, fresh air come into your lungs. And release your warm breath. That's awesome. Okay, so we are going to start here in mountain pose, and we're going to try to be moving with our breath. So, we'll be inhaling and exhaling. I'm going to try to breathe audible enough to you guys that it can kind of help you if you want to follow my breathing. More than anything, honor your own body and follow and listen to your own breath. But I'm not going to be doing too many breathing cues today, but I am going to try to breathe through my movements. So as long as you keep that breath pattern consistent, you're doing great. So coming into mountain pose, feeling and stretching through the four corners of our feet, maybe shifting our weight from side to side. Try gripping your mat with your toes, gripping with your pinky toes just as much as your big toes. And then wiggle them, maybe come up on your toes, maybe bend at your knees and kind of do a little bit of a circling action. Maybe get that booty going. Maybe get your booty going in the other way. Maybe engage your core and then release it with your breath. Maybe lifting your chest, maybe doing a little bit of a chest circle or a wiggle. Wake your arms up, roll your head, and just really check in with every part of your body. For me, it sounds and feels like a bowl of Rice Krispies just snapping, crackling, and popping, but that's okay. Get it out. And coming up with our hands overhead, we are going to swan dive in to a forward fold, either bringing your hands to the ground or to blocks, rocking forward and back on your feet. Starting to find some stillness and weighing heavy through the head and shoulders. Really relaxing. Getting a good stretch through my spine. But then we can also inhale and straighten our back and really get deep into those hammies. Nice little bit of movement. We are going to bend our knees and roll up. Stepping forward, we are going to be in a high crescent lunge. So let's just get our feet planted. You want your knee, whoops, almost falling over. That's okay. Gravity usually gets the best of all of us and at some point. We're going to have our knee traveling over the center of our foot, raised up on the toes or the balls of our back foot. But we're balancing our weight evenly through both sides. You can actually try shifting your weight forward and back. Inhaling, arms up overhead if your balance is working with you today. If not, you can leave your hands by your side, feeling nice and strong and grounded. We can tuck our pelvis and really stretch into that hip flexor though. We're going to take a few breaths here. And coming down, cupping our arms in front of us like we're kind of embracing somebody towards us lovingly. Tilting my back foot parallel to the back of my mat, coming down strong into warrior two. Feeling as though you're being pulled and extended through the tips of your fingers and radiating and growing right out the top of your head. Just like almost like you've opened beams of light radiating out through your head and through your hands. Then we're going to straighten our front leg, come forward, actually coming forward into whatever this is. Kind of a twisting lunge. It's like triangle if you have your knee bent. Exhaling, coming down, both hands to the earth, stretching my foot to the side just a little into a lizard pose. But then adding a twist. Coming down, we're going to lower our knee, resting on the tops of our back foot. Then coming up into crescent pose. Coming forward, bringing our hands to the earth, and then leaning back. Ooh, yeah, right into our hamstrings. You can even hold on to your foot and breathe and go a little deeper. And then from here, I actually move my hand off the mat just to give myself as much space as I need. And I'm just bringing my front leg around into pigeon. Kind of shifting my hips from side to side. And trying to keep that same feeling of just radiating out of the tops of your head, like the top of your head, from your heart outward. And then we're going to lower onto our elbows. You can do this onto blocks as well. Coming up on your hands, you can roll back onto your booty and bring your feet around. Ooh, into Cobbler's pose. And you can breathe and pulse into it. Just getting a little bit of a stretch to the sides. You can kind of drift from one side to the other. You can also come up to sitting vertically and butterfly your wings a little bit. Your knees are your wings. And get the feeling of bringing your thighs to your mat, really opening and engaging and pressing down into the ground. And engaging into the ground, also focusing on growing out the top of our head. If you want, while we're here, we can actually visualize and feed it with our breath, but a seed that's in our brain. And that seed is our creativity, all the parts of our intellect, our hard work, our friendship, our everything that's who we are. All the potential of ourselves is in that seed, and as we inhale, the seed splits open and is sending out its first little root tendril. We inhale, and it's growing its first leaves. vining up out of the crown of our head. And we inhale, and it's setting more leaves in its first buds of blossoms. We inhale, and that bud starts to bloom. And it's radiant. And that light that was growing out of the top of our head as we practice our yoga is what feeds that seed. And it's our breath and our mindfulness that keep that flower blooming. Let me know in the comments, because I'm super, super curious. What was the flower that was blooming for you? Mine was a rose. This time, it used to be an iris whenever I was in like high school and practiced yoga and stuff. So, I wonder what that says about us, what our brain flowers are. That as we practice through the other side of our body, because that was very like our first half of this practice was right side heavy. As we breathe, let's visualize that light that radiates out of us as we practice. And let's visualize, if we can, that seed growing and blooming and just doing its thing. So I find that a really just invigorating, because I'm personally not very good at meditating, because it's like I have 30 hamsters running amok in my brain. And if I try to tell them to all sit still and be peaceful, chaos ensues. If I give them all something to think about, which is that guided story of the seed blooming, then they all start following along with the seed blooming and helping to put that visualization together. So it was really wonderful to get to share that with you guys, and I hope it brought you some benefit, because I like it. And I don't know, I feel like I just shared like a super personal part of myself with y'all. So take it and do what you will. So we are coming back to our physical body. Because I don't know about y'all, but I kind of lost, like, I lose focus of like what my knees are doing in cobbler pose whenever I do that visualization. So just stretching our feet, maybe opening up our feet like a book, maybe bringing them together, just engaging, wiggling those toes. Nothing will quite ground you like wiggling your toes. It's so earthy. So now we are going to come over onto our hands and our feet, our hands and our knees rather, into our familiar friend, cat-cow. Exhaling and tilting our tailbone and the crown of our head towards the sky. Inhale and exhale. Opening our back along the spine, really curving, engaging our abs. We're going to have our toes tucked under and push up into downward facing dog. You can walk your knees out, you can wiggle your hips, you can scrunch and stretch and see where your neck and shoulders are in relation to each other, and maybe loosen that up a little bit. Inhale and exhale. And now from here, we will lock our hands. Oh, that was something I was locking up my breath in for sure. Back into a forward fold. And maybe observe and see if you feel any stiffer or looser than what you did when we first came to this position today. Then bending our knees, we roll up. And we step forward with our left foot into what's either, I always think of this as warrior one, but I still feel like I'm mistaken on that. or a high crescent, maybe. So I'm not focusing so much on folding back as much as I am in my hip flexor. And for me, the distinction for warrior is I feel it in my hip flexor. And on crescent, there's a little bit more of a back leaning and balance, apparently. Inhale and exhale, cradling in front of you with your arms, stepping your foot back, and growing into warrior two, radiating, growing out of the top of our head. And as you build your own personal visualization skills with that, if you're into it, you can start to visualize sending vines and branches through your hands, or perhaps roots down through your feet. Now from here, coming back up onto my toes, into a warrior one. I know we didn't do this last time, but that's what helps us with the transition into extended side one. I don't know. I could benefit from a block in this pose, but I can't reach any of them right now. So we come down into lizard. Oh yeah. And then inhale and open up into the twist. And bringing our hands down. Oh, it's not there yet, is it? We're just going to drop our back knee from lizard. Drop that back knee. And come up into crescent. And then bow forward, leaning back into our hamstring. And then from here, I just bring my foot across my body and start to lower and fold into pigeon. Supporting ourselves on our hands or on bricks. And then we can lower onto our elbows. Really breathing into that back of our kind of outer upper thigh. Or the booty. Though really I do feel a stretch here in my inner thigh as well. And then from here, we can come back into Cobbler's pose. And we could add more. I have added more in the past, doing like a wide sitting forward bend or wide-legged side stretches or things like that. But I'm feeling really good with where I'm at right now. Very challenged, but not over so. And I also have cabbage stew on the stove that I literally just remembered right this moment. And it's probably time to stir it if Randy hasn't already. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Please let me know what your flower was down in the comments. I want to know. And then we can all Google it and see what flower meanings are and be like, oh my God, my flower was this. Or something. Or maybe it was a tree. Maybe you were ignoring my prompting entirely, which is awesome. Yeah, just what was your thing? What was your plant? So I've had an amazing time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Also, what do you think of this new camera angle? I'm going wild. I'm mixing it up is what I'm doing. We'll probably be back to the same old crap tomorrow, though. Of me being like, I don't know what day it is. Let's do yoga. Y'all are the best. Until next time, keep on keeping on. Mwah! Bye.